My name is Michael Chae. I'm Business Development Lead for Circular and Clean Technologies as part of the Applied Research team at NAIT. So I work very closely with the Clean Technologies team, looking at clean technologies across the entire sectors. For me, the most important thing about these conferences is about networking. And you know, some people will say that you see the same people again, but it's not true. There are people that you run into that are the same people at every conference that you go to in the space, but you'll always meet somebody new, especially at a conference as large as this one. So I mean, even yesterday at one of the knowledge bars, I was standing in line and had an excellent conversation with somebody just randomly, and that turned into some true actual leads in terms of how we can work together and collaborate. We've made a lot of commitments to try to lower our carbon emissions, and CCUS is a way that we can get it done, and we can get it done in a relatively quick time frame. Yes, it's going to have complications, and yes, it's going to be expensive, but it can be done. And then when you tie hydrogen into the space where we can use our existing infrastructure and expertise in Alberta in the oil and gas sector, and then transition to making hydrogen and storing the emissions from that underground through CCUS, it's a game changer and really puts Alberta on the map. I truly believe that we're going to be net zero in terms of our energy here really shortly. It's evolving for sure, and I'm happy to be part of it, and I'm glad that Alberta is leading the effort. I think the big thing that we have is we have good programming, and so we do have an alternative energy program at NAIT that's really, really good. Not only are they getting the education, but they're getting the hands-on training and experience and really getting out into the community and seeing where they can actually make a difference. With our students as well, I think we have over 34,000 credit and non-credit students, but more importantly, we have an employer satisfaction rate of 98%. And so I think students really recognize that if they come to NAIT and they train and then they get the experience that they need through our credit and even our non-credit programming, there's going to be a job waiting for them at the end of it. Our Clean Technologies team does a lot of work with the energy sector, as does our Center for Oil Sands Sustainability. So we have really good contacts and projects in the energy space already, and we're along for the ride in terms of that evolution. And so working with the hydrogen companies and even with our Center for Grid Innovation, looking at electric and how we're going to integrate that as well. So we really are at the forefront in having these conversations and getting the project started. I mean, I think hydrogen, especially in Alberta, we have wonderful natural gas reserves that can be converted into hydrogen. The problem being, of course, that process can create CO2 depending on how you're doing it, but the steam methane reforming process will produce CO2 emissions. So it would not be a popular process without carbon capture, utilization, and storage. So the ability to take the carbon that's emitted as a result of steam methane reforming and then capture it and then store it underground in the reservoirs, it makes it a net zero or close to net zero process, and without it, I don't think that hydrogen would be as successful as I think it will be. If you're a company out there, or you're looking for your experienced employees, customized training programs, or an applied research team to do your research and development for you, I ask that you make NAIT your first stop. Canada's path to net zero runs through the Edmonton region.